Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. So we're reading today from Srimad-bhagavaatam, Canto 9, Chapter 21, Text 17. The chapter is called The Dynasty of Bharata. So chant the Sanskrit. Ishvara lambanam chettam Purvato nanya radashaha Maya guna mai rajan Swapnavat pratyaviyata Ishvara lambanam chettam Purvato nanya radasaha Maya guna mai rajan Swapnavat pratyaliyata Ishvara lambanam chittam Purvato nanya pradasaha Maya guna mai rajan Swapnavat pratyaliyata Ishvara lambanam chittam Purvato nanya pradasaha Maya guna mai rajan Swapnavat pratyaliyata Ishvara lambanam chittam Purvato nanya radasaha Maya guna mai rajan Swapnavat pratyaliyata Ishvara lambanam chittam Purvato nanya radasaha Maya guna mai rajan Swapnavat pratyaliyata Ishvara lambanam chittam Purvato Nanyaradasaha Maya Guna Mai Rajan Swapnavat Prataniyata Ishvara Lambanam Chittam Purvato Nanyaradasaha Maya Guna Mai Rajan Swapnavat Prataniyata. Okay, word for word. Ishvara Alambanam, completely taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Chittam, his consciousness. Purvataha, fixing. Ananya Radasaha, for Rantidev, who was undeviating and desired nothing other than to serve the Supreme Lord. Maya, the illusory energy. Gunamai, consisting of the three modes of nature. Rajan, O Maharaj Parikshit, Swapnavat, like a dream. Prachaliyata, merged. Translation. O Maharaj Parikshit, because King Rantidev was a pure devotee, always Krishna conscious, and free from all material desires, the Lord's illusory energy, Maya, could not exhibit herself before him. On the contrary, for him, Maya entirely vanished, exactly like a dream. Here after me. O Maharaj Parikshit, because King Rantidev was a pure devotee, always Krishna conscious, and free from all material desires, the Lord's illusory energy, Maya, could not exhibit herself before him. On the contrary, for him, Maya entirely vanished, exactly like a dream. Prabhupada's purport. As it is said, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Anlankar Yaham Krishna Tahanai Mayara Adhikar. Just as there is no chance that darkness can exist in the sunlight, in a pure Krishna conscious person, there can be no existence of Maya. The Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 14, Daivihesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Daratyaya Mam Evaye Papajante Mayam Etan Parantite. Quote, this divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. End quote. If one wants to be free from the influence of Maya, the illusory energy, one must become Krishna conscious and always keep Krishna prominent within the core of his heart. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 34, the Lord advises that one always think of him, Manmana Bhagavan Bhakto Madhyaji Man Namaskaru. In this way, by always being Krishna-minded or Krishna conscious, one can surpass the influence of Maya. Mayam etan taranti te. Because Rantideva was Krishna conscious, he was not under the influence of the illusory energy. The word swapnavat is significant in this connection because in the material world, the mind is absorbed in materialistic activities. When one is asleep, many contradictory activities appear in one's dreams. When one awakens, however, these activities automatically merge into the mind. Similarly, as long as one is under the influence of the material energy, he makes many plans and schemes. But when one is Krishna conscious, such dreamlike plans automatically disappear. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Ajnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, many great points here. So Srila Prabhupada starts off by quoting this verse, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Anankar Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Mayara Adhikar. Just as there's no chance that darkness can exist in the sunshine, in a pure Krishna conscious person, there can be no existence of Maya. The Lord. So, I remember when someone in the early days of ISKCON started to say something that Srila Prabhupada is saying. Somebody who had just joined the movement. Well, Srila Prabhupada, when I used to be in Maya, Srila Prabhupada says, you're always in Maya. You're always in Maya. So we didn't used to be. We're now at least we have an idea what is Maya. But we're always under the influence of Maya until we become completely 100% Krishna conscious. And of course, the only way to become that 100% fully Krishna conscious is by, of course, practicing Krishna consciousness. But the beginning of Krishna consciousness is called Sambandha. Sambandha means relationship. Not just any relationship. Relationship means relationship between the relationship between Krishna and the living entities. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. The living entities are tiny parts and parcels. Relationship that Krishna is the supreme controller, and the living entities are supremely not controlled. And we're supremely controlled. We're the Krishna controls. We are being controlled, and Krishna is the source of the whole material energy. It's not under that influence of material energy. So many ways. So this is Sambandha. This is Sambandha. Sambandha means that we are the basic knowledge that we have to have to practice Krishna consciousness. We cannot even chant Hare Krishna properly without having some knowledge of Sambandha. We cannot. Because if we don't at least have some understanding, some realization that Krishna is God and I'm a servant of God, and Krishna is the supreme controller and I'm really under his material nature, we don't have that, then there's no possibility of chanting properly. Because chanting means, what does it mean? Oh Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please engage me in your transcendental loving service. This is the meaning of the chanting. So how can we chant if we don't understand that Krishna is God and I'm simply a small servant of God? So when we start taking up the path of Krishna consciousness, and it takes a little while to rise from the completely third-class platform, where there's no faith, no knowledge, no nothing, to the second-class platform, where we become a little more fixed on the path of Krishna consciousness. This is a second-class platform. Srila Prabhupada says that until we should try not to remain on the third-class platform any longer than we have to, because it's a very shaky position, very shaky. The third-class platform means that there's very little faith, very little understanding, very little faith in Krishna, very little faith that Krishna is God and I'm a servant of God. So that's third-class platform. Third-class platform actually means that it basically means materialistic. A materialistic person trying to get a foothold, we say, on the path of spiritual life. That's third-class platform. But it's very shaky, because with a little bit of argument, someone can make some strong arguments, and someone is completely on the third-class platform, the devotee can become very easily swayed away from the path of Krishna consciousness. Which is why we must constantly, every day, hear the philosophy. If Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada says that, actually quoting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, philosophy, religion without philosophy is what? Sentiment, and sometimes becomes fanaticism. And a philosophy without religion is what? Mental speculation. What does it mean to have philosophy without religion? What does it actually mean? Anyone? Philosophy without religion means if you have some philosophy and the conclusion of your philosophy is not God, then that's philosophy without religion. You know, just like Mayavad philosophy. It's mental speculation. Mayavadis have their conclusions they want to come to, and then they try to and they take the truth of the scriptures and twist the words in so many ways to try to make it support what they believe in, what they want to prove. But the conclusion of the Mayavad philosophy is wrong. So that's that would be a philosophy. That would be a philosophy without religion. Philosophy that does not lead one to religious life, and religion without philosophy, without some spiritual basis to it, is just sentiment. Because if someone is following a religion and is just told, well, okay, this is your religion. You grew up in this religion. You must follow this religion, but you don't actually understand in detail what is my relationship with God. What is the purpose of human form of life? What is what is the what do they glorify God, but what is actually the benefit of that? If you don't have some philosophical understanding why you're doing what you're doing, then it becomes sentiment, and basically, and many times people give up their religious path because they don't have the philosophical understanding why. In fact, I was reading a while back, and this is not just in Krishna consciousness. Actually, it's more outside Krishna consciousness. There was a book written by, I don't know who the name of the author, but the book was about, he was a Christian, and so he was describing how difficult it is to keep the young people to on their path, because they grow up following the religion, and they go to Sunday school, they go to church, and they have Bible school, we called it. When I was younger, they called it Bible school. It happened during the summer, and all these things are going on. But then then at one point they graduate from high school and they go to college, and the college professors, some of whom may not even be, some of them may be even atheists, and you're bombarded with a whole different philosophy, materialistic philosophy. And because they grew up believing in God, but as soon as they get hit by these other things, and they don't have any philosophical basis for understanding why, accepting what they already have been told, then they would then they go, oh, now and then they switch. They give up their faith. They give up their faith in favor of what they're being told that they have to believe in if they're going to pass their courses in school. It happens. I also, of course, I was in school, but I remember even the little bit I was in college, I saw that kind of thing happen. It was a very short time after I started the school and I joined the movement. But the point is that there has to be a philosophical understanding why we are doing what we are doing. Not just that you must do it. I'm your father, your mother, your minister. You must do this. There has to be a philosophical understanding why we are doing what we're doing, as far as practicing Krishna consciousness. So therefore you have religion, which means become closer to God, and then you have to have the philosophy that teaches us why we are doing what we are doing. So, and then Srila quotes this other verse here. Quotes this the next verse. Daivihyesha gunamayi mamamaya duratya mameva ekpajante mayam ekantarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So, Maya is so strong that we've been entangled in Maya's web, we say, for how long? 2 billion lifetimes, maybe. We don't know. We've taken birth. Chances are again and again and again and again through the different species of life. They try through different creations. We cannot say, but and then it means we're very, very entangled. But simply by surrendering to Krishna, that means that we become free from this whole entanglement very easily. And once we come to the point of surrendering to Krishna, because the material we are under the control of the material energy, but we can become transcendental to that material energy by following the process of chanting Hare Krishna, by avoiding the sinful activities, uh, you know, by not letting, we're in Kali Yuga, so not letting Kali take over our consciousness. Srila Prabhupada says that Kali, personality of Kali, is the accelerating agent for irreligious principles. Accelerating agent for irreligious principles. So what does Srila Prabhupada do? I mean, not just Srila Prabhupada, but all the previous acharyas. If you want a spiritual life, you want a yoga, you want any of these things, you have to be celibate, you have to be vegetarian, you have to be no sex, intoxication, gambling, or eating meat. You have to follow these things. Otherwise, there's no chance to do them, to succeed. And Srila Prabhupada, because he he started right off from the beginning. You chant Hare Krishna mantra, okay, and then you have to avoid those sinful activities. In some places, some groups, someone might become even initiated. Just okay. Well, you can try taking out chanting a little bit, but then they're not even required sometimes to follow the regular principles. That comes later on, maybe. But Srila Prabhupada made it clear from the beginning. Even the first initiation, second initiation is considered to be more. He calls it the real initiation. So the first initiation is very, very, very important, and Srila Prabhupada immediately established that by the time you're initiated, and from that point on, you have to chant your rounds, and you've got to avoid or abstain from all those sinful activities. So probably after actually in the early days, before I was here in the movement too, we read about these things. Srila Prabhupada initiated his first disciples, at least American disciples. He initiated the first American disciples. And I don't know how the initiation went. I don't know if they even asked them to make promises of chanting or following the principles or anything. But he made it clear that because the next morning, when the devotees got up and they went to the kitchen, then they saw a letter. The same letter or a copy of it is, I saw, where did I see it? New Vrindavan, I think. They put it in the Srila Prabhupada Vyasa. Somewhere that was a handwritten letter Srila Prabhupada put on the kitchen door at that time. I think it was probably in the New York temple, I imagine, the very first one. And it said that anyone who's a duly initiated disciple must, chant 16 rounds a day of the Hare Krishna mantra, and must abstain from these 4 sinful activities, and 10 Mangal Artik every day, and several different things Srila Prabhupada mentioned. So he may or may not have emphasized these things so much, but as of the first initiation, first initiations, Srila Prabhupada he made it clear. Everyone's like, really? but that's how Srila Prabhupada started. And after that, of course, it was understood. You make your vows to chant and follow the principles and so on. And then by following the process, of course, we gradually get some realization and we become Krishna conscious. So, of course, this chapter, there's part of this chapter is about Maharaj Rantidev. So, Maharaj Rantidev obviously was a pure devotee of Krishna. So he was not in Maya. He was completely free from Maya because he was completely pure. So he had his, we have his, um, we read about his wonderful activities. He, he was had no interest at all in just trying to enjoying the material world. And at one point, I guess this is a previous age because people can't do these things now, but for 48 days he did not eat. He didn't even drink water. And then when he was about ready to break his fast, then different personalities showed up and at his door asking for something to eat. And apparently, in this particular case, apparently he only had what was his plate of food, prashadam. Um, but he very easily gave his meals away for the others who had come without any attachment at all. He was not even concerned. His concern was, let me, these people have come, they're hungry, let me give them something. And I'll give them what I'm going to eat. So, and of course, and it turns out that all these personalities who came were just like demigods and great personalities taking on these different forms just to test him. Not really to test him, not to test him because they knew his way, they knew his nature, but they were actually testing him as a way of glorifying him. They knew how he would act, and when they tested him and he acted perfectly, then of course that increased his glories more and more. And Srila Prabhupada says here how we, just like during the night, we sleep. And when we sleep, we dream. We may or may not remember our dreams when we wake up. I can hardly ever remember anything. But in the dreams, everything seems to be, everything makes, in your dream, everything makes sense. But when you wake up and you think about, I was dreaming that? How could I have believed in that? I've seen, and now I see the reality. As Srila Prabhupada describes in Krishna book, it says just like you've seen gold and you see a mountain, so you may dream of a golden mountain. Your mind will put these things together. So that is but that's the dream of sleep. But in reality, the whole material manifestation is more or less a dream. It's temporary. Everything around us, of course, is going on, but it's a dream in the sense that it's very temporary. We dream of, we identify that I am I am this person, but I'm not this person. I'm the soul within this person. This body I have now is now, and maybe 70 or 80 years ago, I had some other kind of body. A person now may have a male body, maybe previously he had a female body, maybe he had some other, even an animal body. We don't know. We're in a kind of illusion now, but we're trying to become woken up from this illusion by the practicing of Krishna consciousness and trying to understand that we are a spirit soul, we're not this material body, and that our eternal relationship will be with Krishna and eventually go to the spiritual world where that will be our actual real identity. Anyway, there's a couple of points in this purport. Any questions, comments? Okay, so we'll end end for today, and tomorrow we'll continue on with verse 18. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.